So first and foremost, let me reintroduce my dear collaborator and co-author of this presentation, Dr. Grażyna Żebrowska, who is continuously supporting with a great success US-Poland collaboration from Polish Embassy at Washington, D.C. I used to be her boss, not any longer, I regret.
Yes, good morning. Good morning, greetings from Ambassador Piotr Wilczek from Washington, D.C. We'll celebrate 60th anniversary of Fulbright in October this year in Washington, D.C. So you are very welcome and you are already invited to Washington, D.C. I would like to thank you, Justyna Janiszewska and Łukasz Wojdyga, for inviting me for this very important conference. And I would like to introduce my former boss, Professor Marek Konarzewski, who is right now in several hats. If I remember, you are a board member of NAWA, you are a board member of Fulbright Polska, and for me you are also a very important person at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. You are advisor to the Minister Jacek Czaputowicz. You advise about science and technology cooperation with the world, not only with the United States. So.
Okay, so if possible, let's move on to our presentation. And first and foremost, let's start with a logo. And I think that there is no better person to say a few words about this logo than Grażyna.
Yes, this logo, it's a logo made by, maybe you can guess who is the author if you look at this. No, it's Rafał Olbiński. And he prepared this logo for us for this special year. And if you would like to use this logo, please join us. You can take from our Twitter or website from the embassy, and we'll be happy share with you. So, and also please use a hashtag at Twitter +100 together. So if you're tweeting today, please use this hashtag. So, and right now, I think we can start the proper presentation.
Let me just add that this logo, of course, celebrates 100th anniversary of US-Poland diplomatic relations. So that's the most important. And of course, the most important part of these relations is US-Poland science, technology, and academic collaboration. So that's why we're here. But I believe that we all share this opinion. Okay, so let's start this overview with a few slides that I hope will position Poland in a little bit broader picture. Poland, I mean Poland as the economy and then Polish science. This is regrettably something in our human Polish spirit to complain all the time. And we have to root it out, that's for sure. And we have good reasons for doing this. Just look at this graph. This is a graph taken from World Bank report on Poland. And as you see, these two lines, I don't know whether the pointer is. Yeah, there we go. That's the poverty index in Poland in the last decade. And that's the GDP per capita. Two trends, reverse trend. The poverty is going down, the GDP per capita is going up. So even though our aspirations are indeed way above this line, don't forget about what we've already achieved. And that's something that really should make us proud. And this, of course, translates to the position of Polish science as well. Oops, not this direction. If we look at the metrics, this is just one of them, and that's, I think, quite much telling. This is Nature Index 2015, but the picture would not change so much for the next 3 years or so. In just life sciences, chemistry, physical sciences, earth and environment, Poland is orange here. And as you see, among the countries that are sort of on par with us, roughly, including Russia, that should be, of course, way ahead of us, but it's not for very obvious reasons, Poland is doing quite well, yeah? At least in chemistry, that's global. We are really well positioned. In physical sciences, Marek Trippenbach, my dear friend and colleague and physicist, is with us. So thank you, Marek, for contributing to this success. And also in life sciences, we are quite strong. Yet another example. Again, the rising stars in science, according to Nature Index 2016. You would be perhaps a little bit surprised with a sequence. This is Saudi Arabia that really pumps huge money into science. This is China, that's obvious. And Poland is next to it. So, we are really catching up. We are really catching up, and I think that with progress in this trend, I think even though I'm confident we'll be still complaining, I think we'll be really moving upwards and making ourselves stronger and stronger partners to our friends with whom we would like to collaborate. And of course, with this in mind, let's turn to the United States. A couple of years ago, we published with Grażyna a paper on migration of Polish researchers to the United States. We took a solid data from the embassy archives and just put these archives into work. It took us quite a long time to do it, but nevertheless, I think that a take-home message is on this graph. So here again, we have years starting from 1996 to 2012, and that's the GDP increase. Here we have two lines. The red one is emigration of high-skilled researchers according to the classification of J1 visa holders. And this is PhDs that also filed a request to the United States Department of State through Polish embassy for the visa waiver to stay in the United States for good. And as you see, there was a really high increase of the applications that culminated roughly in 2004. Do you remember what happened in 2004? Yeah, we accessed the EU. And then there is a tremendous decline. So the take-home message is that Juanita mentioned brain drain yesterday evening, by the way, stealing us part of a show, but nevertheless, something, no, that's fine. Some pieces of cake still remain here. So as you see, there is nothing like, let's say, a tremendous brain drain with regard to emigration of Polish researchers to the United States. We have, let's say, the stays or the applications for stays in the United States at the level of less than 20 a year, which is sort of on par with other countries of similar size and of economy. So there is nothing like a danger of brain drain on the American side. Another story, totally different story, is the number of Polish researchers staying abroad in Europe, in European Union. But overall, the philosophy is that European Union is one identity, so we should not be so worried with researchers working here and there. But quite frankly, we would rather like to have the brightest and the best in Poland, also from elsewhere, rather than having Polish researchers working in other countries, chiefly in the United Kingdom. So Poland has to be, or used to be, a source of best and brightest for the United States science, but it's not any longer. And I would say, and we will allude this later on, this is a great asset. Those Poles that emigrated, settled down, and had an extremely successful scientific career in the United States, is a great asset to us. I would say still underutilized. Let us say a few words about, let's say, the framework, the institutional framework of collaboration with the United States, and the major document, that sort of an umbrella agreement that specifies the terms and conditions of the collaboration, is so-called US-Poland Science and Technology Agreement that has been renewed last year. Deputy Prime Minister Jarosław Gowin visited Washington, D.C. in April 2018. Here you have a photo from the ceremony of signing this agreement. And that's a very broad, very overarching document. So this is a document that does not specify, let's say, the very intricate technicalities of how to collaborate. This is just something saying in broad words how to do it, under what terms, related, for example, to IP and so on. So that's what is in the document. It's open, so you can eventually read it if you wish.
One more thing, may I?
Yes.
So because of this document, we will prepare joint committee meeting, and a joint committee meeting, this is the meeting when scientists from Poland and United States meet and discuss about the future of our cooperation in science and technology, and we expect to have this joint committee meeting this year in Warsaw.
That's exactly right. We'll come back to the joint committee meeting and its position in, I think, one slide ahead. There is yet another slide with information on another document signed last year. This time, this was Minister Łukasz Szumowski who represented Polish government, and this was a memorandum of understanding signed jointly between Polish Minister of Health and Polish Minister of Science and Higher Education and Department of Health and Human Services, which is, let's say, the American equivalent of the Ministry of Health. And this document mainly framed the collaboration within the biomedical research, particularly targeting collaboration with the National Institutes of Health. I wonder whether any one of you is aware of the budget of the National Institutes of Health. How big is it? Do you know anything about it? Billions, but how much? All right. $30 billion annually, $30 billion. And Polish budget? Okay, so that's roughly 1/3 of the whole budget of this country. That's amazing. So, of course, we cannot say that we are unequal partners, just for these sheer reasons. But still, we can have a really wonderful collaboration in selected areas. In 2 weeks' time, there will be a delegation from the NIH visiting Poland. And this is the follow-up from signing this agreement. And this delegation will spend quite some time in Warsaw, in Krakow, in Gdańsk, and Wrocław. Yes, so those 3 centers, seeking for a very solid collaboration with specific research teams in these cities, in these research centers. So that's one of the solid outcomes of signing this agreement. So let me recapitulate a little bit. So here is a very short diagrammatic description how it works. So we have US-Poland Science and Technology Agreement. We have Memorandum of Understanding. It's a little bit lower and connected, just for, let's say, the legal reasons. This is not that these two documents are of equal value. Then we have this US-Poland Joint Committee meeting that should elaborate on strategic decisions, which fields and which parts of collaboration are most important. Where should we allocate most of our resources in a US-Poland collaboration? So that's where it should set the priorities for the collaboration. Then, of course, we have executive agencies, National Research Center, among others, the NAWA, of course, the Fulbright Commission, where, let me remind you, Poland contributes half of the budget. Then Agency for Biomedical Research, which is a new entity. I don't know whether you've heard about it. This has been just signed into law. So this is a new entity that will finance long-term biomedical research out from the Ministry of Health budget. So this will be another really important player, particularly in the context of a collaboration with the National Institutes of Health and other institutions, US institutions in the area of biomedical research. And then what we really expect are concrete actions. This is just the institutional framework. And of course, neither minister nor the directors would do the job. We do need the people that will fill out this framework with some solid things. And quite frankly, and let me be open, this is our weak point still. That's our sort of a bit of frustration, long-term frustration, that we don't use the potential of the collaboration with the United States to the full. So that's the laudable task that is still in front of us. And we have, as I already mentioned, we do have tremendous resources out there on various levels. A few examples. First and foremost, Polish Americans that made a tremendous contribution to technology. Some of them historical figures, but still to be remembered. Frank Piasecki, a great engineer who designed so-called flying bananas. These are these two-rotor helicopters used in different varieties by the U.S. Army, and this is a design by Frank Piasecki. Steve Woźniak, I'm confident that you know, at least by name, this gentleman. Mieczysław Becker, we selected this person on purpose because of the Becker program already offered by the NAWA, the prime program supporting exchange of young scholars. And let me remind you, Mieczysław Becker was a designer who was responsible for the lunar rover, the one that made so much history in the early 70s during the last two American missions to the moon. So this was the Polish invention, again, made by an engineer of Polish descent. And we have some other examples, and I can go on and on, but let me just give two other examples. Professor Maria Siemionow, the outstanding plastic surgeon who carried out with a group of some 12 other surgeons the first near-full... 28. 28, thank you, men, yes, and one woman. Yeah, thank you. I should have here another slide to show you. We did have it somewhere, yeah. This was a whole team where there were quite tall men standing and with a rather fragile lady in the middle, and she was the boss of this group. Tremendous success, fantastic person, very engaged in a collaboration with Poland, really. Fantastic asset. Another example, Professor Krzysztof Matyjaszewski. He is an absolutely outstanding chemist. If I may guess whether a Pole will be awarded a Nobel Prize in the near future, this will be him. So please remember his name. I'm confident that you will hear about Professor Matyjaszewski in a few years to come. That's my bet. And one thing that we should very much highlight is how to promote Poland and Polish science in the United States. And of course, the prime institution to do it is our embassy in the United States. I can regret that as we speak, all this tremendous effort hinges on just one person, quite frankly. but a very effective one, and this is just an example of a fantastic contribution to the promotion of Polish cause and Polish science. This is Senator Barbara Mikulski opening an exhibit on Maria Skłodowska-Curie in the US Senate Office Rotunda. And believe me, this is not that easy to get with a message to the US Senate Rotunda. This must be a really something that is of a high value and something that will be greatly appreciated. We were fortunate, Grażyna was fortunate to reach out successfully to Senator Barbara Mikulski, by the way, of Polish descent. Extremely, she is now retired, but she was instrumental in supporting US science. If you think of the Hubble, for example, this was her. She secured funding for Hubble mission in the US Senate, single-handedly. So this is a lady that was absolutely dedicated, and she still is, to the development of science in the US, but also with this Polish dimension. Another word on promotion, the US, or the Poland-US Science Award. Something that, again, Grażyna is responsible for in the US. And this is an award established jointly by the Foundation for Polish Science and the American Association for the Advancement of Science, AAAS, the largest, let me remind you, the largest international organization supporting science, best known as a publisher of science journal. So that's yet another very good example on how we should and we can promote the best and brightest. This is the team of two researchers that were awarded this prize for the first time. This was 2015. Professor Mariusz Jaskulski from Adam Mickiewicz University in Poznań and Dr. Aleksander Włodawer from the National Center, the Cancer Institute, which is a part of the NIH again. So we have NIH again on agenda.
This year we had a third edition of this award, and winners was Professor Oleksyn from Polish Academy of Sciences and his colleague from Montana. So it's, I think, really good way to promote Polish science and cooperation with American colleagues.
That's exactly right. And let me just highlight the other actors on the scene. There are many of them, and the prime example is the Kościuszko Foundation. I hope that Marek Skulimowski is still with us. If not, I'll be happy to. Please tell him that we really highlighted their contribution. The Kościuszko Foundation is the longest serving organization of Poles in the United States on several layers and several levels. The most prominent one is the funding scheme offered by the Kościuszko Foundation for Polish scholars. And also, more recently, here we have the Frank Wilczek Award established by the Kościuszko Foundation. Let me remind you that Frank Wilczek is again an outstanding physicist of Polish descent and a Nobel Prize winner. So we do have the Nobelists among Americans of Polish descent, and that's something, that's the asset that we should be really proud of and try to harness to our cause. And just a very short overview of another entities acting and active in the United States in the field of US-Poland collaboration on science, technology, but also humanities. Polish-American Historical Association. That's the association that gathers the historians in the first part, but not only, those that are interested in fostering studies on history, not only in US-Poland relation, but also on a broader scale. Polish-American Medical Society, another one. Polish Institute of Arts and Sciences of America. This is the most prestige one that used to cherish the Polish cause mostly during the Second World War and the decades after the war. So again, the Piazza, as they call it, is particularly for humanities is fantastic partner for Polish organizations, and they are still in this area quite active in several fields of research. And the bottom one, Rada Polskich Inżynierów w Ameryce Północnej, the Council of Polish Engineers in North America, gathering technical engineers from different areas, again collaborating with Polish colleagues. On just a short note and a very brief message, yet another important entity, this is US-Polish Trade Council. It's more directed into applied sciences and to, let's say, innovation and fostering innovation. But we should definitely, in our actions, not fall short of this dimension of collaboration. And the prime example of their engagement is the program that hopefully you have heard of. This is Top 500 Innovators. That was the program implemented some 10 years ago or so, and we already have 500 alumni of this program. Perhaps, is there any alumni of the Top 500 in here? If not, I'm sure that you will come across.
500 not enough.
500 is not enough, yes, exactly. So obviously we should go beyond the 500. And by the way, one of the programs now offered by the NAWA is sort of a follow-up in this direction, but rather directed into biomedical research. And to make long story short, these were groups of young scholars, particularly those interested in innovation policies, that spent 2 months at two top universities, American universities, Stanford and Berkeley, learning how to make this big bridge between basic science and applied research. And by the way, look at these two photographs. You see quite a distinct cultural difference. And guess which group is from Stanford, which group is from Berkeley?
The other one is from Stanford.
That's exactly right. That's the answer. So we try to expose Poles to very different dimensions of American culture, and I think, and I've heard about it on several occasions, that this was the program that was by far the most successful spending of the EU money that we had at least in a decade or so, and I thoroughly agree with that. Another very important activity is this related to alumni associations of Polish universities in the United States. It's a fairly new program that is mostly fostered by the Polish Academy, by our embassy, and Grażyna is instrumental here. But of course, again, this wouldn't work without people, without alumni of Polish universities living in the United States, wishing to engage in these associations. And let me just remind you, there's a Poznan University of Medical Sciences that established such association, University of Warsaw, and this is the picture from reunion of the graduates of the University of Warsaw, organized at the embassy last year. Białystok Medical University. I'm from Białystok, so I'm particularly proud of it. And indeed, for whatever reason, there is a very strong community of MDs of Polish descent graduating from medical university in Białystok, and working in the United States, so there is some 150 members of this association. Technical University of Warsaw, and this is in the making, Warsaw School of Economics, so we hope that the list will be longer next time we will meet, and I think that this is the direction to go. As you know, most of the American universities are rich because of the huge donations of their alumni. And we don't have this culture in Poland, but this is a small step, maybe, to start this kind of support that will eventually bring the budgets of Polish universities in par with Stanford, which is, $600 billion, $6 billion. Okay. So that's a little bit more than a combined budget of NCBR and NCN, just one university. Well, we have a number of fantastic examples of collaboration in the academic realm, and this is just one of them. It's a little bit outdated because the program is already 25 years old, not 20 years old, but that's the program of established at the Medical University of Poznań for the American students. Among those that were instrumental in establishing is this gentleman, Dr. Stan Victor. With this photo, I would like to salute his vision and his dedication to the cause. This was tremendous. At the time when Stan started this, nobody believed that this would be possible in Poland, truly. And he made it with the help of equally dedicated people in Poznań. We have two of them with us.
Yes. Hello.
And later this day you will have a presentation from our colleagues in Poznań showcasing this program. Fantastic, congratulations, and please keep on doing this. Oops, sorry, I messed up. Another prime examples of how we can spread the message about Poland and the opportunities for studying in Poland. These are different events that showcase Poland as a destination for American students and scholars. The NAFSA, this is the photo from the biggest academic fairs taking place in the United States annually, and we are always present. The NAWA is present. You can recognize the director of the NAWA in the center.
This year NAWA will be in Washington, D.C., so again, invitation to Washington, D.C. Please remember that the doors at the Polish Embassy are open for you guys, and will help you to organize something interesting for your colleagues in United States.
And many other events at the NIH, for example, and here is Grażyna. This is another occasion, scientific diaspora meeting, another photo with Grażyna presenting Education USA again. So we have a wonderful face of Polish science in the United States. And these occasions are sort of repeatedly used by different entities from Poland to promote our country. And this is, again, a way to go. We were absolutely absent in this field, and nobody associated Poland with a place where one can study or one can pursue a scientific career. It is still our task to change this mindset of people not associating Poland with this kind of activities. If you ask an American about Poland, the usual answer is yes, pierogi and kiełbasa and so on. Yeah, this is fine. I have nothing against it, but we would like to add some other associations that would be closer to what we try to showcase here. And this is a short answer to Juanita's presentation from yesterday evening. Yes, we are also reaching out to very young audience, knowing that they will eventually end up at the universities, the primary universities, so we have to make them ready to go to Poland. And with that, this is a fantastic picture from taken in Washington, D.C. during Olympics, robotic Olympics. As you know, robotics these days is a really big thing. So this was the Polish team that came second, am I right? Yes, in this Olympics. We do have a huge potential in this field, that's for sure. And let us finish with a presentation of short, hope it works. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. Do we have a voice? Voice is on. Not really.
Our partnership with Poland Embassy this year is the second year, and it is part of Kids Euro Festival, which is an annual festival held by the Euro delegation. And then normally Kid Museum, we host different embassies every year, and it's been 2 years in a row now that we host Poland Embassy at the museum.
Something wrong with the voice again.
Wiesz co, już zostawmy to tak jak jest. Anyway, we are short of voice, but
What Poland Embassy does is aligned with our mission. So Kid Museum is a museum that...
Anyway, please believe us that was a huge thing and a great success and the way to follow. So with that, let us thank you for your attention, and I hope that we have convinced you that we have much to offer and way more to do to make this offer even more attractive. Thank you.